Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Truthseekers Prophecy. New series, new episodes, new season, new year. And we have my co-host. I am Bradley Powers, mystic and spiritual advisor. I have my co-host, Benny C. Trent, the Anunnaki teacher. Benny C. Trent is in the house. Hello, Benny.
How you guys doing? It's Benny C. Trent, Minister Chaos, the Anunnaki teacher. We're coming at you guys from Truthseekers Prophecy. This is a rewind on the other one we had yesterday, part 2, and it's going to be great. And
We
Bradley's put together his great
Sorry.
host, but then let Bradley go from there.
And we have Cassidae Lightwing, special featured guest, Cassidae Lightwing, the lion. Well, and special guest.
Than a roar, but whatever.
Yeah, that was good enough, Cassidae. It's been a while, and we got Mark Brown, Freemason and Experiencer. Mark Brown is in the house. Thank you for joining us, Mark.
Yo, Osta, Sonoe.
So the show is going to start off. We do have an actual theme to this show, believe it or not. Normally we're raw, unrehearsed, and we make up as we go along. No, not really. Normally, we share words of wisdom, words of power, and truth-seeking theoretical theories backed with references that you can normally find. We say, don't take our word for it. Do your own research. We have Cassidae Lightwing in the house, and Cassidae has a question he'd like to present to our Freemason friend, Mark Brown. So over to you, Cassidae Lightwing.
Well, we were talking the other day, and Katie brought it up earlier, so she's over here. She can ask questions and whatnot. We really wanted to talk about Mammon.
Sorry.
I didn't catch that. Talk about
Mammon.
Mammon, the god of greed, the demon of greed.
God.
What do you want to know? What it looks like?
Okay. How do you want to do this? Do you want to hear the vision first, or do you want to give me your information first? You have a better connection than I do. So
Okay.
How should we do it?
Let's start with a physical description, because most mortals, muggles, whatever you want to call them, don't know even what it looks like. So let's start. So you got to understand that angels and demons are pretty much from the same cloth, just different political alignments. So they are unique and do not look necessarily like a human. Being that said, typically a demons or angels are going to be taller than a man. So Mammon is around 15 feet tall. It has red ruby colored wings that are translucent, just like a gemstone. Body's made out of looks almost alabaster. His skin, if you've ever seen the inside of a mussel shell, it's kind of a clear it's whiter than white. I'll put it that way. It's whiter than ivory. He is. His eyes shine with green and gold flecks, which looks a lot like the green in money and the gold of gold. I mean gold, like the pupils and stuff. It's quite striking. It's an entity that has been mentioned throughout history, but what is not known is that it has been worshipped as a god. And in fact, Christian Bible speaks against worshiping Mammon, said one cannot follow God and Mammon. And let's get to the roots of Mammon, what Mammon is. Mammon is a demon of wealth, or devil, if you want to call it that. Sometimes the hierarchy of hell is compared that the devils are the commanding officers of the military of hell. Well, remember, demons or daemons taught mankind about war, and they were structured into military units long before humans were invented. They taught us how to make weapons. They taught us cosmetics, astrology, numerology, you name it, mathematics. These are some of the lessons that was taught to humanity from the fallen. But this particular entity is considered the god of riches. And it is something that is worshipped in some areas of the world. It has been, in Syria, ancient Syrians would worship Mammon, as a deity of wealth. So if they wanted to have prosperity, for example, they would worship that entity, hoping that he would help them find riches and wealth. And, but it speaks quite, explicitly in the Bible against greed. It says, one cannot serve God and Mammon. And he talks about Mammon being, associated with riches and wealth, immortal wealth, in fact. But you've got to understand there's two types of riches, and humans don't get this. You can have all the gold in the world. You can live in Hollywood. Hollywood. Think about that. Hollywood, the wood of a witch's wand. Holly is Holly. So Hollywood. You could live in Hollywood. You could have all the money in the world. And when you cross over, guess what you're gonna be? Broke.
No.
So you have to decide where you want your wealth facing. Do you want your wealth in this world, or do you want your world in the next world? I left the Catholic faith because of that. I didn't see that on Vatican sitting on a mountain of gold while children in this world starve to death. Children sick and afflicted. There's sick children all over the world at any one given time. That money can be well suited to help treat medically. Like I said, I am a Shriner also. We have 22 children's hospitals. We pay for 100% of the care. So,
Yeah, you guys offered.
Whoa. Something just, hold on. Okay. Sometimes when I have a psychic vision, I have something just smacked me pretty hard just then, just try and tell me something. Cassidy, you apparently know very much what I'm talking about. Something about a sick child, a very sick child, something that has happened. Not. I'm getting a name. That's bizarre. Anyway, sick children and the poor should be taken care of first. And, the fact that Mammon represents worldly wealth, that's dealing with corruption, in my opinion. It's an arch demon. There's been lots of names for it throughout the years, but in the ancient Jewish, and if I'm understanding the rabbis correctly, Mammon actually means money in Judaic. It is actually an old term for money.
Katie, you're in the computer and you're over there. Sorry.
Computer. What computer?
No, I just put up Katie's comment that she has.
You're welcome. Look around. We don't have internet here.
Can I ask some questions?
We don't even have a computer in here.
No, he's talking about.
I got a laptop up there on the bunk.
I put the comments that are coming up in there, Mark. But right there. Where you want to get in there, Cassidy?
Well, okay. So can I ask some questions, Mark?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Where do the pigs come in?
The pigs?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the swine that God cast the demons into?
I don't think so.
Well, that's when the demons of the possessed man was cast aside, they were cast into the pigs. Now, Mammon does not have a head like a pig. Mammon has more of a it's considered piggish in the fact that greed is selfishness. But Mammon actually has more of a depiction, throughout Egypt and places like that. It had more of a head like a jackal or a wolf. So, its physical description, is more along those lines than. Yeah, it's worship of basically your love of money is greater than your love of God.
In the visions, whenever Mammon passed, the pigs would scream because their flesh belonged to him.
Well, they're greedy.
I'm sorry, you clicked.
They're greedy. They're a greedy creature. They
Right.
are greedy. So they are hoarding and greedy and self-serving only. If you've got, if you ever had, I got a hog. I've actually got a hog here on the farm. But hogs will run you over to get to the food. And if they run out of food and you're in the pen, guess what you are?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dad had
So,
pigs. My dad's family had pigs on the farm. He's told me horror
right,
stories.
right. So they're incredibly greedy. They'll
Right.
continue to eat and eat and eat until they even bust. You know,
Okay.
that
So
they
you think
don't know, they're insatiable. But
so you think
same as
that's
the love of money. If
fair
you
enough.
look at, if I got a dollar bill, Cassidy, and I take it out somewhere and I put it on the street, I don't care. Usually, even a very, very wealthy man will bend down and pick up that dollar bill. The love of money. The love of money.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with having money. And the Bible doesn't speak necessarily as evil as having money. It's just loving money more than you do God, more than you do your fellow man. For example, if you would hoard money, if you're walking down the road and you got $20 bill in your pocket and you see somebody who's really, really, really hungry or starving, and you know that they are, and you feel in your heart they are, if you continue to walk down the road and you don't stop in the Arby's or whatever you're near, because you will be next to a restaurant, you are being tested. So you can either choose to build your wealth here or you can build it on the other side. It's kind of why I want to have my business. I want to make wealth so that we can do good and charitable things so that we can buy wealth on the other side. We don't care about the money here.
Yeah. When people offer me money for the healings and whatnot, I always tell them no. And the reason I give them is because, look, either I'm crazy and I don't deserve to be taking your money, or it's for real and I really don't deserve to be taking your money because, like, it's his, not mine. You know what I mean?
Well, sounds
Christopher
like you're
People
doing
Really
says,
push. What I'll tell them
Christopher,
is that my wealth is that the boss is paying my wealth in heaven, and usually
the
that makes.
from the audience, Christopher People says, Mark is correct with this, that angels and demons have different alignments. I agree with that. And Chrissy Dunham says, yes, Mark is right on the button. Thank you for sharing that with us. Christopher People says, worship is a magical contract whereby a god gains its power charged from the people who serve it. Thank you for sharing that, Christopher People.
Well, remember, alcohol is a demon too.
Well, it's a spirit. That's not quite the same thing.
Mm,
So, okay, so one more question.
sure.
Why the desert? What's out in the Gobi Desert?
What's out in the Gobi Desert?
Yeah.
A lot of sand.
Be more
Well, no,
specific.
aside
You
from that,
you
guys
stepped
know
into that one. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
it's good. No, joke. It's Cassidy. Jokes.
There's
Jokes.
all kind. There is cultures buried under the deserts that we don't even begin to understand. Mankind is much older than the fossil record dates us back. They've just recently found dinosaur tracks where humans were walking at the same time as dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, I'm
There's
familiar with it.
countless illustrations of mankind interacting with dinosaurs, which basically is a dragon, throughout history. So when you're looking, I've seen medieval murals that had brontosauruses in it.
No.
And besides, how did mankind build great works like the pyramids? I'm sorry, but I don't care how many Africans you got out there in the middle of the desert trying to move a 800-ton stone block. It's not happening. Matter of fact, I know enough about modern architecture and equipment, heavy equipment. We don't have the heavy equipment today to make the
Yeah, but
pyramid.
back in the day, Mark, didn't they didn't they know the secret of levitation?
They knew a lot of
You can
secrets
call
that
it
have been
levitation.
forgotten. Yes. Yeah.
I
Well, they
wouldn't
also
call it
not
levitation. I
only
would
talk
call it
about
like
levitation, but they also talked
intergalactic.
about how they could get stones into a certain mass and be able to melt them into place.
Yeah.
That they had
Yeah.
technology to melt the stones to be able to make them. Just
Look,
another theory that they're
look,
coming up with on those pyramids.
exactly. And it's not just isolated to the Americas. Look at Machu Picchu down in South America. where they've got blocks so well fit together that you can't put a piece of paper between them. We
Yeah,
don't have the technology today to reproduce these great wonders. And we talk about how advanced we are as a species. No, we're moving backwards.
yeah.
Yeah, because we're all walking around looking like this at our Android phone, and we're not
Yeah,
looking at the spirit that lies within us. We're looking
correct.
outwards.
I really like this comment that your nephew or your son, I believe, puts
Yeah,
up
that's my
there.
son.
He says, I'm sorry, I thought it was nephew. That's Raymond Lightwing says, Jesus Christ said, it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. He said that because rich men owned slaves and did horrible things to build mountains,
Yeah.
the mountains would build wealth. It's
Yes.
pretty
They love their money more than God. But you do know that the eye of a needle is not proverbial. It is an actual place. And to enter into this ancient city, the gate to it was called the Eye of the Needle. Now, you could get into the city, but you couldn't bring your camels in, and here's why. Not normally. Your camels would have to crawl in on their knees. It was so tight of a fit that a camel could not stand and walk through the gate. So to enter the city, the camels would have to literally crawl in on their knees. So it was called the Eye of the Needle. It's not saying that it's impossible to have wealth and to attain the other side, but it's saying it's so incredibly difficult. And think
Right.
about how often money corrupts. You see some beautiful actress
Yeah.
go to Hollywood, and the next thing you know, she's shaving her head and doing absolutely bizarre, ridiculous things for the corruption of money to be accepted. It's sad.
true.
I am a person who's very familiar with having to do extremely humiliating and denigrating things for just enough money to survive, you know, for food. You know what I mean? It's not a good situation.
Well, it's clear that you don't worship mammon. Because mammon would definitely help you with the wealth, but the old saying, going down to the crossroad, as the musician says, or selling your soul, is it worth it? To me, no, and I believe to you too. You seem like a man of conviction, then, so that's a good thing. We are alike.
I'm going to catch up to Memon. I'm going to pull his spine out and use it like a whip.
Oh, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And with all the people those things have hurt in this world, I certainly won't want to be in their shoes when the next turn comes. So that oldest of lions is coming back. That was a sheep, and when it comes back, it will be a lion, and it will claim. It will claim, and when it does, there's going to be a lot of tearful eyes. But you know. I
It's
I just want
interesting.
if I make it I'm gonna say if because Lord knows I fall pretty short many times. But if I make it to heaven
Yeah.
and I was a janitor, I'd be the happiest janitor in history.
Right.
I like that
Awesome.
point of view. I have a similar one, and everybody makes fun of me for it. But basically, I just hope I'm something like a dog that guards the outsides of the gate. Like I just want to be close enough to the city. I ain't getting in. If there's a hell, I'm going to it. You know. But
I think we're in it.
Yeah.
Piece
Well,
no,
of it.
all I know is if it's physically possible, based on the things that I've experienced in my life, you know, if it's physically possible, devil's got a broke nose coming.
what's
Guaranteed. You ever heard Monopoly? Don't pass go, don't collect $200.
right?
You be watching. I'm gonna make a beeline for him.
Something that a lot
Guaranteed.
of humans don't seem to want to accept is that even JC said it. You all have more power than all of the angels in your little thumb. All you've got to do is call on it and know how to call on it. What was
Right.
it? He's like the myriads of angels are at your command. All you have to do is I don't remember the exact quote.
Well, you got to think we have free will.
Yeah,
What a
Right.
blessing! What a blessing that we have free will, and that we're given the gift to be able to use those powers. You know, you can choose to be whatever a person decides to be. You know, and a lot of time we get in self-defeating trends or personalities. Sometimes I just keep sensing you've experienced something pretty traumatic. Something traumatic has happened in your life. I'm gonna tell you now, Cassidy. I get.
Where would you like to begin?
I keep getting well, I'm not going to try to go too deep because I don't want to hurt. I don't want you hurting. Does that make sense?
Good luck with that.
Well, oh, I know. I feel it off of you. You can understand it that.
Which pain are you referring to? There's a lot of not a lot of, but
you don't have to go to hell. Number one, if you choose to go, that's a personal choice. However, I think that there's a greater good at play in you that could be utilized, and that your path will be made clear soon. I just get that feeling. You've got, I don't know who it is, the female looking over your shoulder, but it's kind of cool actually. Is that your
Mark,
is that your wife?
are you talking about like spiritually or physically?
Spiritually, there's someone looking over your shoulder.
Oh no, my wife's over there.
let me
Okay.
jump in there real quick, Mark. I don't think he got a chance to talk on it on the last show, but
Sure.
he does have someone that's a angel that was a angel in his life that was very strong, because even in the passing, she came to me in like what you're getting in visions, and I text Cassidy right away. And I don't know if some people believed it or not, but after understanding about another child that Cassidy worked with, I knew that it was probably. You want to tell them, Cassidy, who that person is?
Car? What? I keep getting a car like sound. I
Shar.
don't know. Char?
Shar.
Okay.
Shar was way beyond amazing. I know every parent says that, but I want you to tell this brief story to get to
She's your child.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd just run across the country trying to get away from my family, and we were trying to rent this house so we could get off the street. And this is in Illinois in the winter. We were screwed. And I'm trying to get this lady to rent us the house, and she's like, "I don't want to rent it. We're doing the renovations. It's not done yet." And while I'm trying to beg this lady, Shar gets out of the car and goes around and touches her knee. And lady stood up straight like that, and she goes, "What are you people?" Just like that. And I said, "We work for Jesus, ma'am." And she just put the keys in our hand on the spot. Shar could heal with a touch.
I get that. She's still with you. She's with you right
she's
now.
not in physical pain anymore.
She's right with you now.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I said.
When he was describing the blood that he has in him, it's foreign. That's who he was referring to. In that the other person, I don't know if you remember some of it. He never went off into what he was talking about, but that was the person that the government gave him. Gave him. It was looking into everything of her medical because of that.
Right. They found the genes in her. They said, "Oh my God, she's one of you guys. Let's try to save her life." The problem is that when push comes to shove, the people that make the decision on whether or not a transplanted heart can go to somebody is the transplant team. They will not give a heart to an unstable family. So my family on the other side.
That's wrong.
What was that?
That's awful.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the way it is.
Well, see, that's why I'm a Shriner, because we have hospitals that deal with, and honestly, I joined the Masons to become, not just because I had heard it was the Illuminati and they controlled the world, and and I wanted to be right in the middle of my enemy, because if that was the evil controlling the world, I wanted to disrupt it from the inside. But when I got there, I realized it was completely wrong, and the Shriners had helped my second cousin when I was a kid, and she had deformed legs. So they asked absolutely nothing, provided 100% of the care, out of pocket, transportation, medical treatments. But see, more needs to be done. One of my distant cousins was Danny Thomas that started St. Jude's Research Hospital. So I feel very passionate about, well, You're gonna laugh. And Bradley, I'm gonna do it.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
Here we go.
Man, where's the hat? I like the hat.
Here we go. Yeah, that's my bowler. My bowler. Bradley, that's my bowler.
Yeah,
Oh,
a
yeah.
bowler. I've got to get me one.
I'm also Sparky the Clown. I'm a Shriner clown. I'm proud to do it. And it's because, you know, when good men prostrate themselves to do good works for the weak, it says in the Bible that, yea, what you do unto the least of them, you do unto me. Well, little sick children, the elderly, and animals are the least of us.
That's right.
So one should strive hard to do good works with them.
Right.
That's right. I
So
believe
the
that.
Yeah.
situation with Shar is that when it came time to approve a heart, my family would ratchet up a great deal of chaos so that Shar would get pulled back off the heart transplant list.
Oh no.
She got pulled
I'm
off.
so sorry. But remember,
She got pulled off the list the morning of her transplant 3 times because the
okay.
Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in transplants.
When died, they the last minute found a heart and lung transplant for her,
Oh wow. Barbara was relating that she knew a little girl that was on the list,
and her mother.
and the little girl
She
died
had
the
a
day they
lesser-
found her a heart and set of lungs.
She had a lesser chance of survival, and her mother. She had a lesser chance of survival, so her mother opted to give the heart and lungs to another child that had a better chance to live, and her daughter died.
Rest in peace.
That's amazing. But
Because they said she might not, she probably not survive the surgery. So the other child lived and she kind of died.
you know, if I accomplish one thing on this earth, I hope it's that I make others' lives more bearable, and that I help relieve some of the sickness and poverty and hunger and things in the world. And I'm no angel. I'm gonna say that now. I am no angel. I am just a person, just a farmer. But you know, I have come to realize that being a conduit or just a tool, that even one person can make a significant difference in this world.
Oh yeah, Shar was proof of that.
Yes,
Yep.
she was.
Sure,
Very
everybody
strong.
watching has an example of that they could look at and say, yes, she was mine. It's really weird.
Yeah.
She was my little girl, but she was my hero.
Mine is my mom.
Oh, that's not where
She's, if it's what I'm seeing over your shoulder, got a beautiful little smile
Mhm.
and bright lit up eyes.
One of the
You know,
last.
You'll see her again, by the way. You do know that this is not the end. That's one thing humanity gets wrong. They think that this is the end. When you die, you're gone. That is not it. They're just getting started.
That's usually my line in these shows.
Berkeley.
So we went from opposite ends of the spectrum to on the exact same page, it seems, in a lot of ways.
That's the beauty of conversation,
Yeah,
But
it is.
so yeah,
It
so
is.
getting
You
back
still
to
have a destiny. You still have a destiny. And everyone on here, I mean, I can sense it. I'm in a room of like-minded people. Benny and Bradley as well too. We all have destinies, and it's up to us whether we want to decide to embrace it or to run from it. It's still
that's
a fact.
I'm trying to figure out what I want to do.
Well, I've got a plan. I think we're all going to talk. To be honest, I have a plan, and the plan did not come from me, by the way. Like I said, I'm a conduit, but
That's why.
we'll see.
Let me jump in there, Mark. Let me jump in there, guys, if you would, before you guys go back to that main conversation. Well, I'm gonna say a comment too after that Christopher said there that he has a question for you guys. But I asked you earlier. You said you said that you was just a simple farmer. You remember the question I asked, And I was like, well, I know that you're building new economical fuels, like an engineer, that I know that, you know, your work as a light bringer and healer. And I asked you, I said, well, what would you say your main passion was? And you said planting seeds. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, with you being a farmer, planting seeds, can you explain what you explained to me on what you meant by just planting seeds?
Sure. Now, I am an organic farmer. I believe very heavily in non GMO, pesticide free, chemical free, wholesome food. However, all the seeds that I plant is not in the ground. That's what people fail to understand. When I say that I'm a farmer, well, think about it this way. Was not Jesus a shepherd? And was all the sheep that he heard, were they all animals or were they animals and humans? So the seeds that I plant is often in the minds of people that are receptive to listening to the message. It's seeds of thought, of wisdom that they can take back to their life and apply, either right or wrong, but it can help them find their path forward. And I think that that's so critically important when we live in a time full of distractions like television, you know, that's TV programming. There's a reason they call that programming. We are being programmed. When you hear something that you know is not correct in the news, you'll hear it on every single news channel parroted. It's a form of brainwashing. So understand that people's paths forward, you know, sometimes it's getting those distractions out of the way and planting the proper seeds to allow them to think for themselves and grow as individuals.
Good point.
I'd
Christopher
like to
People
say,
says,
Rennie
uh,
Burkett says this is a great show, guys. She's thoroughly enjoying it. I'd like to put a shout out to Alden McKinville is in the house. Hi there,
Hey,
Alden
Evan.
McKinville.
Eldon, one of
Well,
my advisors there from McInnville
Theo,
Paranormal. Christopher People says here, neutralize your beliefs before you go to the afterlife, and your place of residence afterward will become your thought to form conversion. What do you guys say to that?
well, that's pretty profound, actually. But he's talking about you can set your own parameters, and that's really by the choices that you make on this side. So he is correct in that assumption. The choices that you make here will determine where you get there. But even if you put together all of your perceived beliefs on this side, it's not possible. As a human, you're tied inherently to a belief in some form of a spirituality. You know, the fact of atheism, I'm gonna be honest, being a combat veteran, you tell me there are atheists in a foxhole and I'm gonna laugh at you. Because there is no such. And you tell me that atheist, when he goes to pass, is not starting to have second thoughts or doubts, I promise you that's not correct because I've seen it happen. You have a man die in your arms that was an atheist, and he got that aha moment when he realizes that, hey, I think that there's a funny meme that goes around that kind of suits that. Says, "Wait a minute, hold up, something ain't right here." Yeah, so there's definitely
Now,
something on the other side.
you can't really trust the beliefs of an organization and movement that basically change their name every decade or so to make it sound cooler. They don't even know what they're saying.
Oh yeah, organizations,
Atheism,
as in which ones?
contrary to popular belief, atheism doesn't mean I don't believe in God because there's not enough evidence. That's agnostic. Atheism means you're at war with the gods, and I advise everyone to look up the etymology of that word if you don't believe me. So no, these people really don't. They don't even know what they're saying. They're just mouthing words they saw in a cartoon once. You know what I mean?
Atheists don't believe in a god or a devil.
Oh, okay. Time to educate you. All right. So
Educate
atheism. That's
me.
not what atheism means.
Okay, okay. Now the gloves
Okay.
are off.
Oh yeah. Um, Atheism was coined as an ancient Greek word specifically for people who hated the gods, who were going against the gods.
Well, going against the gods is only half of the parameter. A true atheist won't believe in a god, or they don't believe in a heaven or a hell. They don't believe in a god, and some Wiccans are atheistic, that they don't believe in either side. I
Okay.
have met atheistic witches, which is a weird contradiction, but
The problem is the word atheism, as you're using it, is a very, very, very late addition to the common parlance, to the point where it could arguably have been started by a Family Guy. That's not what atheism means.
Family Guy.
Not what it
Now I
means.
think you're off kilter there by a few
Not very.
eons.
It's Greek for atheos, which means godless.
Yeah.
I
Barbara's
thought
correct.
atheists don't hate God or the devil because he doesn't believe in them. They don't
What
exist.
about what about it being Greek for ethos, meaning no god?
Atheos means
Atheos,
That's
godless. Yeah.
That's a different word.
Greek for godless. Atheos.
Like I said,
Whereas
the
agnostic
etymology is not what
believes there is. Sorry.
Agnostic believes in prove it to me.
Yeah, that's right. They believe there could be something out there. They're open to the concept that there could be something out there, but they need a little bit more proof to actually validate their claim.
Remember when my conversation about Wicca, it's about people
Yeah.
transforming, and I said if any witch out there, open challenge, can turn me into a frog, have at it. I'll gladly eat flies. Guess what? Strongest witches in the world couldn't do it.
That would be because that's not what witches do.
Correct. So those that believe they can, guess what? Newsflash, can't.
A lot of it's educational.
It's just
Richard
educational. It's just education. Does that make sense?
Doesn't even know what they
I got
believe.
something from the audience. Richard M. Strichurch says there is no true. No, this is not true. Atheist is the belief in nothingness.
No, that would be
nothingness is correct. When we die, that's it. It turn the power off, and there's nothing.
Yeah, there's
Just a
nothing.
void.
So
Just
then
a void.
answer this. Then why is it you got all these from the era? Why is it you have like the famous atheists are saying things like "damn the gods"? That's not something you say.
That's not a true atheist. You've got so many people out there that are confused; they don't even know what they are. You've got so many that are agnostic.
Classical Grecian heroes.
Yeah, you've got very popularized people that are agnostic, claiming to be atheists, which have no clue as to what. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But
So we're saying the same thing.
Confusion of mankind. Mankind are confused on terms. It's like I can tell you now that there's people that are atheistic and a witch. Tell me how that works.
It doesn't.
Now the term Wiccan or pagan, the belief of a different type of God or a different name for God, or they'll call it the goddess, or they'll worship some ancient deity, but there's still a God involved. The fact of an atheistic witch, there's nothing from which to draw power, so it's a fallacy.
Am I right to say that an atheist believes if you can't feel it, touch it, smell it, or see it, then it doesn't exist? Is that an atheist?
That far?
No, not necessarily, because that would be more agnostic, because they're expecting something to be proven. And think about the hubris of a little bitty insignificant human expecting that the gods owe them the common decency to even start to explain, because what is it that is making this person so self-important that person is qualified to ask God for anything, especially proof of existence? And God's sitting up there saying, well, you're breathing, aren't you?
Raymond V. Lightwing would like to share something with you. Raymond V. Lightwing said there are even atheists who worship the devil, ironically, going as far as founding the Satanic Temple in San Francisco. Atheists who worship the devil.
Yeah, they're misusing the term. It's not an atheist, that's a devil worshiper.
Right, well, these guys
they're complete. The devil worshiper is the complete opposite of a Christian. The Black Bible. Most people have said that. I've had people say, "Well, I've seen the grimoire, I've seen the Black Bible," and I have seen a version of the Black Bible. And here's what it is. Everything that it says that God and Jesus did, it replaces with Lucifer. So basically, it's in its premise, it's putting Lucifer in the place of God. And it goes
Right.
through and basically that there was this big mix up in creation, that God was vengeful, that God created Lucifer. Lucifer saw that God was not just, and then took upon his hands to do all this, which is complete crap. Because we all know that the original works were first, talking about God. The fact to transpose somebody else into those shoes is nothing more than a cheap imitation.
Yeah.
We could get in.
They're very misguided. And the sad part is if you ever know, and there's Satanists out there listening to me right now that are going to be so mad they can't see straight, but they wonder why their lives are absolutely miserable and they can't crawl out of the hole. And every time something goes wrong, it's God's fault. Well, guess what? That's why your life is the way it is. There's energy around us that is part of the magic of creation. It's still here. It's still God. God is in it, but you can control the energy around you. And if you surround yourself with negative energy, you're going to be a magnet for it. You surround yourself with positive mental attitude, you're going to have the positive come into your life.
I've got some input here
God,
from
I
the
wish that
audience.
was true. Oh my
Christopher
God.
Peebles and Raymond Lightwing. Christopher Peebles said the word atheism comes from the Greek word atheos, meaning without God, which is formed from a without and
That's
theos.
what we just said. Yeah. Yes.
And Raymond V. Lightwing says there are even atheists who are fine with people practicing their religions, and atheists who want every single sacred text burnt and every church and temple demolished. So you've got different kinds of atheists. That's what Raymond is saying.
You're right. Raymond is right.
I'm
Yes.
going to say this one last time. Show me the classical Greek atheist that didn't believe in the gods. That is not what atheism means. Can we please move back to Mammon?
Yeah, let's move back to Mammon.
Sorry, I know I can be an
I'll
asshole.
take Mammon for 1,000. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm going to going back again because we got our way far off, and what's with the pigs?
With the pigs.
Yeah, I know we talked about
You
this
keep going into the pigs. The pigs. You're talking about a demonic possession, because the pigs is not associated with Mammon outside of greed and lust.
All right, so you're saying that in the vision the pigs were a metaphor.
They are a metaphor, yeah.
Okay.
But you got to remember, Mammon goes back even further. It goes back into Egyptian mythology with Wepawet.
Very well.
Have you ever Wepawet? Are you not familiar with that? Well, Wepawet was the wolf-headed god, and he had a city of wolves that was called basically Lycan, but Apocalypse. I can't even say it right. But Apocalypse was long before King Lycan and the Greek come along. So there was already a Lycan, a god with a wolf head in ancient Egypt that had a wolf city long before King Lycan come about. In fact, that's probably where King Lycan got his name. So Mammon is a deity that is said to have a wolf head.
No, they didn't have a wolf head in the vision.
Yeah, if you had a vision with the hogs, it's probably talking about the physical nature of greed. And I'll give you a good example. TV evangelist. Don't you just love them? Now, I'm not trying to be judgmental, and thou shalt not judge. But when you tell me that you need 4 or 5 big airplanes, big fancy jets, and you're not using the ones you got, that's greed. When you have a megachurch in Texas and you have a natural disaster and you close your doors to your congregation and you have a 60,000 square foot house and you close the door, you're not there for the right reason. Same. Oh, and he has a wonderful smile. I'd kill for those teeth. I honestly would. But you know, Joel, I'm gonna say it, Joel Osteen, big fancy smile, exotic Lamborghinis and sports cars. How's that God work? And I don't fault him for wanting to have a fancy car or a sports car, you know, but 60,000 square foot home? Come on, man. You know, you're talking about Jesse Duplantis fussing about not having, you know, enough jets. Come on. You Kenneth Copeland sitting there, and you could see the demon come out of the man on Inside Edition. When he's sitting there talking about flying on a commercial airliner, didn't want to fly on it because it was a tube filled full of demons, talking about people having demonic spirits upon them. Yeah, those are that you're talking about nothing but greed. And these may have been good and pious men at some point in their life that had that moment where the greed for money took hold and took over the message, you know, because there's a lot of evangelists out there that are good individuals that um you know that give all pretty much. They live in pretty basic homes. You know, they might have a nice car, a nice ring, or you know, some nice suits, but honestly they don't have, you know, $200-300 million sitting in the bank somewhere. Because if you can pass by somebody in your congregation come to you is hungry,
Careful, Chris.
and you can't help feed that person, and you've got that much money in the bank, you ain't serious. To
Right.
me, I don't think preachers, you know, I get it, the preachers are paid, I get it, but don't tell me they need paid more than the president of the United States, because that to me just then they ain't there for the right purpose. That's why I'm not a preacher, because
So,
you
Mark,
know, one ain't good enough. But
wanted to have everybody here to talk about a specific thing.
sure.
I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just these are things are very important. You know,
Things are very important.
the things I'm trying to talk about are very important.
Okay. You're talking about mammon.
Yeah,
Then we got off into greed.
and
Pigs are symbolic
then
of filth and
guys,
dirty and nastiness.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Barbara was saying pigs are a symbol of filth and nastiness and excess
And
To
sin.
some,
and sin.
to some. Um. Okay, so the situation in the vision is a bit more specific. Uh, that's why I asked about the Gobi Desert. Is there anything you would know about the Gobi Desert in relation to
Well,
Mammon?
you're not going to find a pig in the Gobi Desert.
Yeah, that's true.
Number one, you're talking about an area of the earth that is very bleak. The rainfall is so insignificant that a pig, under proper conditions, couldn't even live because of the temperature variations. A pig can't sweat. So, in your
Yeah,
vision, if you had a pig in the Gobi Desert,
I
or
didn't.
a pig or plural pigs, it's a physical impossibility. It would not last. That pig wouldn't last there more than a few hours before it die of a heat stroke.
The pigs were
That's
actually
why they wallow in the mud.
the pigs were actually in America. The temple in the Gobi Desert was Mammon. In the vision, was Mammon's resting place, and it was a man that let him out.
Well,
And
he had a kingdom in Syria, so bear that in mind. And he was worshipped very heavily in Syria. And if you notice that a lot of prophetic scriptures have to do with the fall in Revelations, for example, about the fall of Damascus, because Mammon still has a heavy influence spiritually in Damascus, just as Persia has a demon lord protecting it. Persia being Iran. And you know, there's even been angels that did combat with the Prince of Persia, which is a demonic entity, a demonic lord. So you're
okay.
talking about spiritual energies that still exist.
Oh yes, that's why I'm talking about this. The visions get into a very nightmare situation, but that's what I'm trying to start at the beginning. So
So how about we start with you? Tell me your vision, so that we're both on a level playing field, and then maybe I can help you walk through it.
okay, so it jumps around a bit. Feel free to ask questions.
That's okay. I'm a quick study.
So if I were to put the visions in chronological order, it would begin with a man opening this temple in the Gobi Desert. I was able to describe it very, very well, and I got in trouble for it. So I've been trying to find more information ever since then. Nothing, because that's got nothing to do with, like, if you were to study religions and comparative religions, there's nothing there. There's no connection. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But so anyway, in the visions, they open the temple. Mammon is let out into the world, and all the pigs in the world get sick. And so,
but Mammon's already in the world, so Mammon is being released on a grand scale. Look at what's going on in the American government right now. You've got a entity that was just created, and we're not going to get into politics, but when you look in at corruption that takes place on all levels, across the board, we're seeing larger and larger things come to the surface that have been buried. So that's that greed.
Okay. So, like I said, the pigs in the world get sick. I'm going to skip to the parts where that really, like, have my brain. Like, ever since then, it's been in my brain. I had to write books about it just to get it out of my brain. The operational point in the visions is what I call the butterflies section. And in the vision, what it looks like is these big butterflies, about this big, the size of my hands, with gossamer flying everywhere. Very, very beautiful. And there's this tinkling music to it, like it's almost hypnotic. But when a human gets close enough, it latches onto their face and devours them from their face. And then the person that they devour, the face, appears in the sky in Mammon's wings. And by the time humanity is able to get this under control, the faces in Mammon's wings outnumber the stars.
Oh yeah, well that's pretty reflective. So when you're talking about the butterflies, remember, like I said, I use in the examples of like the TV evangelist, maybe that had a good heart. So think about that, he was a good person. So when God come to him and the spiritual ideas come to start a ministry or to do the Lord's work, it came to him as a beautiful thing. But it soon transformed into something negative and nasty, and something that would even take the soul of a man or the life of a man and sacrifice him to the god Mammon. God of Mammon being the god of wealth, the god of riches, the god of greed, and it's a very old demon. So what you're talking about is the masses of humanity that have fallen victim to the sins of greed, of wealth, over our spiritual callings to help one another on this earth. So what you're saying is basically all you're doing is you've been giving a beautiful illustrative vision of a religious message. So if you're looking at it from the context where these butterflies, because they do approach you, think about it. If you make money, and money, I always say that money, to me, money is a drug. And people don't get it unless they've been there. And if you make enough money, you're going to start to realize, hey, well, guess what? Maybe I should make a little more. And when is enough enough?
It's attractive.
It's attractive at first. And of course, who doesn't love? I remember one time I paid my house off. And I paid off every single debt I owed, everything. And the sense of freedom, man, was exhilarating. And I hope to get back there. I really do, because it speaks in the Bible about debt being a bad thing and a type of slavery. Yeah. So God doesn't want us slaves to debt. And I'm completely for people being debt free. But how much do you need beyond that? Do you see? And so your message is talking about those people that indulge in that excess to the point where they lose themselves. And you're talking about the physical killing of a person. They are dying. And when they die, they're not going to that beautiful place. They're going to the other place. So they are supporting
they didn't look
the
too
energy
happy
of that being.
I'll tell you that much. They did not look too happy in his feathers.
Well, we know that greed rules this world right now, right?
Right.
And
I
what
can
demon, what
I
what
can say
demon is, what demon is associated with that? What's
money.
running this world?
I can say that I definitely can associate with that right there because I had an addiction to money in my younger age, which was one of the, the gangster aspects of my younger age. And,
Mhm.
now they got some of these people that their religion is money. Like the guy that just went to jail from with I can't remember his name, Young Thug, that they have
Mhm.
a religion. The religion is money. But the
Yeah.
addiction of money was one of the things that I paid the cost of it for substituting that with my higher power. That's all I wanted. 'Cause, I was caught on those movies. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get y'all know how that goes. And I was addicted, and I had to come up out of that. Well, they put me in somewhere to make me come out of that. But even Christopher People's comment here is karma. He says karma is the type of debt in unfulfilled things. Greed associates with the Moy worshippers. The top 1% owning 60% of the money. Musk has 244 billion. I don't think Musk, I don't think Musk is the richest right now. I think
Yeah, he's
the
talking about
guy.
he's talking about Elon Musk wealth, and Elon has an insane amount of money. If you look at the big picture, I mean, and honestly, what's he ever going to do with it? One I like, and perhaps she could do a lot more. I'm really impressed with Dolly Parton, not because I'm from Tennessee, but because she does so much charity work that to me it's impressive. She started the Imagination, library and was providing free books in the county where she was born, Sevier County, and it expanded to 3 counties. And now she does the whole United States, giving little children free books. She donates to major disasters, you know, and I think that that's the kind of conscientious leadership that we need in people that have wealth. When you're looking at somebody like George Soros or Bill Gates, the only time, and people talk about how much money they give, but notice there's always heavy agendas with what they're giving. They're only giving to one side's propaganda or one sided message. They're not just giving, generously to be given, and I think that's where the problem is. Money can corrupt a soul, and it's the number one testament. And I'll tell you something else is too power. When you get in an elected position, I'm in an elected position at several different places and have been, and you get to the station to where people want to be around you because you're elected into that position, not really because they like you as a person, but because that you have a certain authority or power, and it can be intoxicating. You have to be really careful. I've lost some good friends to that let power go to an abuse. But you're again talking about a form of addiction like money. So those are also demonic spirits.
Right. Let me ask another thing before you guys get back into it, because the lady that just asked that, I believe it's one of your Cass friends. Cass is one of your friends, but I'm not going to repeat what she said, and I just want Sarah to know we're watching what we say, and we're taking, we got gloves on certain words that we're saying here. But what do you feel about cults and cult leaders, Mark?
What do I feel about cults and cult leaders? I think
Yes.
that cults are harmful because you're having group think. And
Uh,
group think
you
happens
better tell
every
me
day
what she
in
said.
every town. If you want proof of it, now back in the 80s, we'd go to the mall
No,
and you
Cass.
look at
No.
five pretty little girls walking around the mall when you was a young boy, and you notice there's 5 girls, there's always one calling the shots, like a shot caller in prison.
Right.
And they would say, oh, they would see a sweater and say, ew, that's ugly. And every one of the little girls would say, oh, yeah, ew, I wouldn't wear that. I wouldn't wear that. Even though there's probably 2 little girls out of the 5 that actually like that sweater. So groupthink, the lack of individualism is dangerous,
Oh,
whether it's in a religious context, like a cult, Cults are insanely dangerous because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
giving somebody else the remote control to your life and
Benny,
your
Right.
spirituality.
I need to
No,
know what
It,
they said, and I'm starting to have a heart issue. Please tell me what they said. Put it on screen.
I can't. I can't.
what
It's
is,
rude.
isn't, I have a question for you, Mark. Is the Freemasonry a
Okay.
cult? Is
No,
Freemasonry a cult?
no, it's not a cult.
I mean, if
That's a
Mark,
major misconception, and I'll tell you why. We come from all different walks of life, and we're not told how to think or how to believe.
well, I'm not gonna put it up, Cass, but I'll read it without some of the words that you put in it, if that's what you like. But you can probably read between the lines. She said
I'm
that.
not doing the silence games anymore.
Well, I can't put it up because of the restrictions that we're having on words that we're saying here.
Go ahead and
And
read
she
it.
says a few of them. She says, "My God, that dude at the bottom, he's a manipulative. Can you say cult leader? Let
Yeah,
someone speak, pronounce words correctly, then your probables might come through. Figure it out."
I just
Terrible.
covered that with Mark
I'm
about.
just gonna go ahead and address that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Mark, you
Go on,
definitely have.
go on,
So,
Cassidae.
You
so
know what?
The floor
terrible.
is Cassidae.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Well,
Nobody
let
comes
Mark.
to you when they need help. All you are doing is the same bullshit everybody else is doing, which is try to undercut anyone who would come to me to get help so that you and your little cult bitches can do it. But then you can't help anybody, can you? I have a list of people who you've taken their last dollar from and then didn't help them at all. And then they came to me and got help for free.
Cassidy was
All
saying
right.
that he helps people for free, and that's really what we should do in this world. And we should try to help one another. Climb up. Obviously, this person has some deep-seated psychological problems. Probably, this sounds very like a narcissistic type person. So, you know, um, I don't have any cults. I mean, I have a lot of friends all over the world, and I don't tell anyone how to think or how to feel. I try to talk with them and help them understand things and maybe a different perspective. And I'm not saying I'm right and I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm saying that maybe I can give them a little different perspective, and people really have to make their own decisions. At the end of the day, we all decide where we fall spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And
it went pretty well, that interview. Yeah. So
But,
Cassidae is
but,
right. He's quit.
but if you don't get me in a room with people that are going to be able to put on a crazy hat and go, phenomena, or do something crazy, or just
I
be,
want
just
to
be.
apologize. I want to apologize
yourself.
that I'm the one that did that because we had put parameters on words and respecting each other in here. And Cassidy, if you're still watching, I'm sorry. I'm the one that took you off the stage there because we had different parameters on how we was going to do these shows for respecting
Huh?
our watchers and listeners. And we've having a good conversation. And I believe that these podcasts that Bradley does, myself, and the others in our group of shows or to teach people new things and to open up, break off some of the cognitive dissonance that has been put on us by learning wrong. And some of the people forget, even though I'm a minister of higher knowledge, I still believe in each one, reach one, each one, teach one. And by
I
going at
too.
someone in a manner that is trying to be where it's some get back for someone or to try to like the lady that made the comment there. That's why I didn't want to read it,
Yeah.
associate you with this or that. But I'm glad that they get a chance to hear you, Mark, because some people do get those different type of prejudice type thinking about different organizations because they're not part of these organizations, or they haven't been through some of the things that we've been through as to get to the point where we're at. And some
Yeah.
people hold the past against us, where, you know, like I said, I have a criminal past, but that was what my ministry was about in Houston. I was considered a gangster street minister because I wanted to change gangsters from going what I went through. You know, that was what my testimony was there about and therefore.
I'd like to address our missing guest, Cassidae Lightwing. I'd like to address Cassidae Lightwing. Cassidae Lightwing says he was removed from the show. Cassidae, you wasn't removed by me. I didn't remove you from the show. You just disappeared.
I did it.
It's a lesson, not a life
That's
sentence.
what I'm telling you, Bradley, that I did it because of what you told me, that we were going to watch the words, and too many words came up. Welcome to come back in, but we put parameters on it for a reason. And then everything, you know, I love you, Cass, bro. You know, I know that you're out there, and but like I said, we were talking about that we're trying to make sure that this was a well-balanced, whether it be debate or conversation, that it wasn't going to be any cussing or any disrespect of anyone else. And some of the last part got a little too far, and I did it. I'm the one that removed him, Bradley, because of what we said the parameters was going to be.
Where we said, Cassidae Lightwing, we said that the show will be diplomatic the whole way through, and we will respect each other's views and opinions.
Guys,
That's what we agreed on.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go
for it.
In his statements, I think he was addressing the person that had from the audience that had chimed in, but something about money, owing somebody money or something had to do with a financial affair. I don't think he was even talking to me. I think he was addressing that audience member, which, you know, he could have chose better words. I get that. I understand he's a very passionate person, but I think it was directed at, I think it was
Lightwing. Yeah, look. Cassidae, you're welcome to come back on the show. Cassidae says, yeah, but all that ends up is you end up protecting those trying to kill my my family. No one here is trying to kill your family. I'll show you that, Cassidae. And like Benny removed you from the show because you wasn't being diplomatic, and like you're welcome to rejoin the show, okay?
But
who do you think was killing his family?
Trying to call in either one of us a cult master. Well, I just heard the words, and I was told to watch the words. I don't know who they were directed at, Cass. I mean, you come back into studio, I'll put it back on there, but we have to watch the words that we use, and that's what we said before even the show started. That, you know, some of the words that we're not going to be cussing, and no disrespect to others. Let's keep it professional, brother. It's people calling him a manipulative. Dad has all the way had it with people calling him a manipulative cult leader. I didn't know which bitch was a cuss. Well, it was more than that, bro. You know it too. But I'm coming back. I see you right there. You're in the studio. I see you right there. But do you understand what I was saying? Just give me a nod, yes or no. I can see you right there in the studio, bro. But
yeah, we made an agreement.
That was the parameters of the show. But you know, I love Cassidae. I don't want anyone to not understand that. When I heard Cassidae say on one of his own live shows that he was leaving, I got upset about it, called Cassidae, told him, you can't leave me, brother, and I'm not gonna ever leave you, brother. And I just, you know, because of the parameters that we put on the show is the reason.
Let me just put it this way. Let me just put it this way. I am exactly one step from putting a silver bullet in my temple. I am trying everything I fucking can to hang on.
Right. I
so
understand.
when people are popping on here, interrupting the show, calling either me or Mark, I don't care which one, a cult leader, I take exception. And maybe I was too harsh, and for that I'll apologize. But nobody better be calling me a cult leader, and you better not be calling my boy a cult leader either.
It was your
Cassidy.
friend that said that. That she
Don't
said
let,
that
don't
they
let
would
people
report you.
don't let people steal your thunder,
They're jealous.
Cassidy. They're jealous.
I'm sorry, bro, but that was just the parameters of the show. So I did it. And like I said, I was
No.
bringing.
I know. No, dude. I'm a jerk. I completely. If I gotta get booted because I'm going beyond,
You didn't
boot
get
me.
booted.
Okay, I'm
Just
good with that.
beep.
Okay.
I couldn't get the beep button. I was like beep, beep. 'Cause I know, I know, and I feel, and I know the reasons with you, brother. You know, I know, and
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot going on and everything else that people don't realize. You got to understand what a cult is to try to call what these guys
Yeah,
do. What
I
they're
could never see Cassidy for the messages that he's been speaking. He's helping people for free. That's not a cult.
Well, no, they was directing it at you, Mark.
Not me.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
directed
oh
at
wow.
Mark.
Oh, okay. Where's the Kool-Aid?
I mean, if you guys want me to put the statement up, I mean, I asked Bradley if you want me to
That
put
would
it up.
really help.
No, I don't.
Don't give them
Don't give them no more power than what they already got. Yeah,
Right.
they done. They're done.
No,
Yes.
we're being trolled. Are we being trolled? Right, you know.
Lord of mercy, a cult leader. Now
No.
I've heard it all. That's
I want
wild.
to know where all these people are. I need help on the farm.
Yeah, we could use farm help. If I had a cult, we'd be out there planting lots of
I'm
seeds.
having
If I had a cult, I wouldn't be poor.
We'd be out there with the garden hoe and the weed eaters and
Singing Kumbaya and
kumbaya.
chopping the weeds
Yeah,
for me. Gosh.
Lord.
Kumbaya, my lord.
Well,
Kumbaya.
ma'am, the
Yeah.
statement up here is
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Ma'am. I'm just saying, Mrs. Kushler. It isn't like that.
Yeah.
That we all had fair chance and stage there, and like I said, there's certain words and things in your up above
Yeah.
statement that I couldn't
Bitch.
word
Bitch
completely.
is a cuss word, by the way. Bitch is a cuss
You know,
word. In English, it is. Yeah.
Unless we're talking about a dog, and we can just say dogs and female dogs. But like I said, I understand. I don't know if you understand where she was coming from, Cass, but it was kind
no,
of rude.
that was
Yeah.
completely not what I thought it was. And by the way, folks, number one, that's how you know I'm not Jesus. And number two, it happens. But the conversation is the conversation. I ask the questions, and he goes, and that's information he's got to get out. You see what I mean? And when you're talking to somebody, you never know what little gem will be relevant. You see what I mean?
Yes.
The
So
issue of that comment that Benny is on about is like Raymond v. Lightwing says, she was criticising you, Mark, because she was saying you wasn't giving her Cassidae the chance to speak and share his issues. So people are going to talk over one another due to suffering or buffering, just buffering. Yeah. So let's have Cassidae have the floor. Cassidae, express yourself.
I'm also having a bit of an issue because the same Jehovah's Witnesses that butchered Shar, I've been coming back and making more and more and more problems, and it recently collapsed everything in my life, all of it. And if not, it wasn't for Katie, we'd be out in a tent city right now. Go ahead.
I'm just going to go on the record to say that any religious organization that can ostracize members, boot them out of their community, and shun them as human beings is a cult. And I would clearly define churches that do that. And I have an aunt that's Jehovah's Witness. They are, in my opinion, a cult. Not only are they a cult, but I know of another religious organization, a rather big one, founded out of Utah, which is also a cult. Scientology, cult.
Oh yeah.
It is what it is. If we're gonna call we're gonna call the dog in the room, that is what it is. And there's religious cults just as well as there's any other type of cult. When you're looking
Corinne
at Jim Jones
says she
and
agrees with you.
well,
Karina
think
Bowden.
about this. How many wars have been fought for supposed God when God commanded thou shalt not kill? There's cults everywhere, unfortunately, and it's really sad. Chastity, you've been victimized, my friend, and you are still probably being victimized because that's what they do. It's sad.
Yeah, that's what I've been
I
trying
was
to
with the
get across.
Jehovah's Witness
Yeah.
for a couple of years. I was with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were so lovey-dovey, and they were passionate about Jehovah. Oh, like they could embrace him.
And
A
I'm
lot
not
of
saying they're all bad people. Don't get me wrong, but the ones that you know, if
Yeah,
they're talking about ostracizing you because
they're not
you make
Jehovah's
another
Witnesses,
decision,
surely.
yeah, you can't ostracize a member and still love them and care for them. You know,
They don't look like Jehovah's Witnesses to me, to be honest with you.
Well, no, okay. So
look at the Amish.
one of the
Look at the
reasons why
Amish.
one of the reasons why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them is because the Shelley and them are not good representations of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses can be some of the greatest people you'll ever meet.
I agree.
They have some really interesting philosophies, you know,
Mhm.
awesome. However, there's a certain kind of Jehovah's Witness. It gives the entire organization a bad name, and that's
Bingo. 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 And it's not everybody. I'd agree 110. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But I
It just
think
takes a few. It just takes a few to make something pretty bad, you know.
Mhm.
And it's really a shame because it takes from the message.
Let me tell him something.
Agreed.
Barbara wants to tell you something. I'm gonna
Yeah.
let my better half talk for a sec.
Okay, cool.
I got an idea. Hi, guys. Whenever the Jehovah Witnesses try to ostracize you, they believe 144,000
I'm going to heaven.
in heaven, right? Okay. There's several million Jehovah Witnesses in the world. Ask them, say, how do you know you're one of the 144,000? Because
Oh,
that
they'll straight
scripture
tell you they aren't.
specifically in Revelation has to do with the 144,000 Jews and nothing to do with the Jehovah's Witnesses.
And that's all
Yeah,
left of the Jews, just about.
that's
So
because
it has nothing to do with them. So if you really want to confuse them, ask them, say, how do you know you're one of the 144,000?
They'll tell you
If they're
straight up.
not a Jew, and also your dream where you're standing at the temple, I didn't know if you were aware of this. Right now, this spring, actually, the Jews are planning on the rebuilding of the temple and are sacrificing the heifers to rebuild the temple. The temple is built, the Antichrist comes. He releases all this evil. When he enters that temple, all this evil is released on the planet. There's going to be creatures that will be attacking humans. They're 6 for 6 months. They can't die. After 3.5 years of this beautiful peace, then the last 3.5 years is going to be hell on earth. I think that your dream is prophetic about what's coming. That was prophesied in Revelation, but you're seeing it symbolically because it could be a warning, like you're talking about your depression, and sometimes you want to eat a bullet. Your blessing is actually on the way.
You know what I mean?
So right before your blessing comes, you're mentally attacked because the devil don't want your blessing to get to you.
Even
So what better way is to make you attack yourself because he can't get to you. You're protected. He can't get you. He can't touch you. It's make you do it yourself. Don't give him the satisfaction. You're going to see that little girl again.
Oh yeah, I see her.
But he's trying to keep you from your blessing. So don't allow that. But I really think that your dream is prophetic about what's to come because he's referred to the 666 as the number of man. And he's the opposite of good. Mammon is the opposite of Christ. Right. Where it says you can't serve God and mammon, it's opposites. So what you're seeing symbolically is probably what's coming. But don't give up on your blessing yet because it's right at the doorway. I'll give you back to Mark. Sorry, I had to interject, guys.
No, it's okay. You hit on so many things. So, firstly,
and Barbara is a Plantagenet by blood, if you were wondering.
Taco Grande?
She is a real blood proven Plantagenet.
I don't remember. I don't know what a Plantagenet is.
Plantagenet was the kings of England The original rulers of England.
Yeah, that's why.
England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and France were all united, and the Plantagenet line run them all.
Okay.
So she hit on some very salient points. So number one, when she was talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses and the 144,000,
Thank you. I was going
every single one of them would tell you that that's not them. Okay.
Right.
However, what is important is that I was confirmed as one of the 144,000 by the Winton congregation, and I am Jewish. I share the same tribe as my Lord and Savior.
Well, you and her have that in common. Barbara is from the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin.
Just Judah here.
My name is Benny, and that means Benjamin.
Ashkenazi. Is your name Benjamin?
No, it's Benny, but it means Benjamin in other countries. You know,
that's cool. Hey, I've got a deep love for the Jewish people, and their ceremonies are very similar to ours.
Judah and Benjamin were the priest and the warrior.
The priest and the warrior of the Jewish people.
I'm a little both.
Keenly aware of the responsibilities of the lion.
Well, yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something you didn't know. My family's name is Lewis, Lewis, on the English side, as Welsh. And the Welsh goes back to Lewes, and it goes back to the kings of England. And it is said that the Lewis family in Wales are the descendants of King Arthur. Now, I don't know the validity of it necessarily. However, our family coat of arms on both sides of my family, the Scottish and the Welsh, is a rampant lion.
It's funny.
And I am related to the Queen that just passed, and King Charles, and a whole grocery list of nobles throughout history.
It's funny you should mention that, because in the vision, the tide turns when the three dragon kings return to their people. I've thought I would have been figuring, and that probably refers to King Arthur, Emperor Chin, and Vlad Dracula.
Vlad the Impaler.
Good.
Seven-headed beast with 10 horns.
Seven-headed beast with 10 horns. I'll define that one. Think about this.
They're countries.
They're countries
that follow the Antichrist.
They're countries that follow the Antichrist.
That's what the Jehovah's Witnesses say too. A lot of Christians.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah, I do believe it. And we're living in such perilous times, and all we have is each other. That's the bad part. You know, they're talking about leading a cult. I don't have any cult or anything like that, but I do think humanity should learn to work together, despite our differences and our advantages, but
yeah,
I truly believe that. You know, and the older I get, the more I realize I don't want enemies. I want to have friends all over the world, have barbecues, play music, make art, and grow plants everywhere.
I'm glad you said
that. Would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, I'm just looking to make friends. I don't think friendship's a cult.
Can we have pork ribs at this barbecue? Or
yeah, Lord, I have a smoker, and I'll smoke them 12 hours on hickory smoke.
Oh,
you know, you guys were talking about the pigs. I was like, can we get those pigs that y'all talking about? You know, I'm kind of finding this fascinating, because in some Bibles where you were saying the mammon, where it says don't believe in whatever, how I can't remember how you worded that a minute ago, but it says don't believe in man in the Bible, and I never knew it was mammon, but most people construed that as man. But you know, how did you just say that a minute ago? You said something about it was a religious text. You said that something. Can't remember how it goes, but
you can't serve God and mammon.
Hey, you can't serve God and mammon. It says in Matthew, but Barbara Edwards is a walking Bible encyclopedia, basically.
Would you say it one more time?
She's a lot like Barbara Edwards, my better half here. Barbara, I want to ask you a question. And does it not say something about casting your riches before swine?
Yeah.
Yeah, not to cast your pearls before swine.
Right.
In other words, something that you value, because swine, first of all, they're destructive. It's a symbolic of destruction.
They are.
It's a symbolic of sin. The demons wanted to go into the swine to flee, and then they destroyed the swine. So when you follow that,
Jump in the sea.
they actually run off the cliff into the sea
Run
and
off
killed
the cliff.
themselves
Yeah,
because they
they ran
wanted
off
back
the
out.
cliff.
Because the
Right, because
swine
they
are
fell.
symbolic of sin and filth and destruction, and
Right.
your symbols that you're seeing is destruction, which could be a spirit trying to attack your mind, to try to get you to destroy yourself. It could be, like I said, symbolic. These swine that you're seeing, desert, a dry place. You're in a dry place right now. It
Isolation.
could be
Well,
something trying to
right now,
deceive you.
Man.
So there's a lot of symbolism there.
Yes,
oh
it
yes,
is.
I'm trying to figure it out for quite some time.
I knew she would have a pearl of wisdom, but think about this too. Don't cast your pearls before swine. So if you try to help somebody, you ever met people that you try to help and you do everything in this world you can to help them and you can't help them? They keep dragging you down.
Ironically, I'm usually the one that's doing that because it's
Oh, I
just
know, because you're a healer and you feel and try to help people. So if you're
Right.
casting your pearls before swine that are not worthy, people that are never gonna,
There's
you're just
people in this
wasting your
world.
time.
There's people in this world who try to prostitute
There's
your gift.
people that will try to take from you at every turn.
Prostitute your gift to get what they can get from you. And
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Got to read that.
funny you mentioned that. I was a prostitute when I
You
was a
want to
teenager.
read that?
Yeah, go on.
Karina Bogey, our sister Karina says, what about the Egyptian Book of the Dead?
No,
That came many years before the Bible, and negative energies are the evil for them.
the Egyptian Book of the Dead spoke about life, and the Book of Life spoke about death in Egypt.
Yeah, it was
It's
polar
the
opposite.
Yes,
Yeah,
true.
those books were polar opposite. So just because it was the Book of the Dead, it was actually talking about the ones that would live
Eternal life.
eternal life.
And the Book of
And that's
the Book of Life was the book.
The
That
Book of
taught
Life
the
was the
dead.
book that talked about death.
I'm not sure if they were real books. There's so much that's hidden in when you're talking about the writings of Hem. There's so much that's hidden.
They
You know what I mean?
did that. Yeah, I think that was a deliberate. Understand that we live in a world where the narratives are controlled, and the oldest library on the earth was in Alexandria, Egypt, and it was run by people of color who created it. And of course, they don't want the man of color having the responsibility of having the library. The world's great. Wasn't that one of the ancient wonders of the ancient world? One of
Oh,
the
the
seven wonders.
Library of Alexandria. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, why did they destroy it? They destroyed wisdom. It sounds a whole lot like Adolf Hitler, don't it?
The enemy comes to destroy knowledge frequently.
Right, right. Because they don't want you to think for yourself.
Right.
You have knowledge.
That's what a cult is. You want to see a cult? Governments are cults.
Okay,
Governments are cults. I don't care what government it is. They tell you how to think, how to believe. They even tell you science that ain't science, like this vaccine. Come on, folks. That's not a vaccine. That's messenger RNA. That's
right.
not
Yeah.
even a vaccine. And they
Yeah,
tell you that a little cloth daisy mask is going to protect you from a virus. I'm a biologist. I'll state my degree on that. There's no virus on this earth that can't penetrate a piece of cloth.
Right.
Total
Meanwhile,
It just go right through it. Yeah.
global depopulation with that COVID thing, and
Yes,
that's what
sir.
they did.
Yes, sir.
The vaccines were killing people. Whatever they put in the air was killing people. And who else they blamed on it? The Chinese. Once again, they let it loose, and the guy came over. And I mean, there's so many conspiracies that they brought out.
Oh,
But
I
we
could
know
tell you. I could tell you from military intelligence where it came. It was created it was designed in the U.S. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It was taken by 2 Chinese to a new lab because they got fired for stealing it. They went to a lab in Seattle, Washington. They synthesized it in that lab in Seattle, Washington. They went from that laboratory, was fired again for actually creating the virus, and they went and flew across the ocean to Wuhan, where they went to work at the Wuhan lab. Ironically, they were the first 2 victims. They were
Right.
live carriers for the vaccine flying on an airplane. That's where it came from. And gain of function was provided by people within our government that was paying money to weaponize this stuff. Folks, there's no conspiracy, it's fact. And it just now is coming out. And it's horrible. That's horrible. So governments are cults too, folks.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
The main thing you guys want to look for when it comes to like what defines a cult, or just like a really weird guy with a weird religion. So number one, the leader cannot be questioned, or cannot. And number one, the leader can't be questioned. Number two, the leader can't be wrong. Number three, if you do manage to prove one or two, they will come after you with apostate punishments. And
Carolyn's right.
yeah. So those are your basic signs. Those are your basic main signs of a cult. And for those of you watching me, keeping up with the drama, I apologize to Matt unconditionally. With the information I was getting, that is what it looked like. The information I was getting made it look like he was running a freaking cult, and I was wrong. I'm very happy to be wrong. So, like I said, ain't Jesus. I think it barely qualifies as Jesus' pet cocker spaniel.
The thing is, look what a good discussion people from all over the world is having here today.
Oh yeah.
And we find common ground among us. That's why I don't believe I don't believe in denominations when it comes to God or church, and I don't believe that any one person has a clear bearing on what God's name actually is. There's so many different names for the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, who's to say I'm right or I'm wrong?
72 names of God.
Yeah. There you go. Bradley's up. Yeah.
It gets pretty ridiculous. And even in like the Bible and the Torah and the Quran, like there's a story in there which directly states that God changes his name and scatters people around the world. What the fuck does anybody? What the heck does anybody think they're doing, thinking that their meat brain can comprehend God or even the angels? I mean, that even the leaders don't mess with that. Above the 16th harmonic, we don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
I'm glad
true.
you did that, Cass, because that's a question I had for some of the people that channel. That I asked them. I was like, well, you're channeling higher dimensional beings. How would you understand their language when their concepts are these human concepts and languages and what we deal with? They're way above that. They don't even need no words and things like that. So, my question to a few people that were saying that they channel these different entities that are so high up on the hierarchy of gods and angels and archangels. My question to them was like, what language was they speaking in, and how could you understand it with the human brain? It's
Right.
I mean, and that right there, I'm trying to get a grasp on that. I'm like, that's why I don't understand some of the channeling. And, one of our brothers was trying to explain it more to me with, because I told him myself, I don't channel these higher beings. If they got a message for me, they're going to probably translate it into something I can understand and send it me. But how could I try to channel them, and try to go to them and ask them questions when I'm just a pebble of sand in the universe to them?
You're bigger than you think.
Thank you. I'm 170 now. I lost weight.
Are you kidding? I'm skin and bones, and I'm still 240.
Damn.
I'm a big guy.
But I want to say again, bro, I apologize, man. It was just a parameter.
Oh Lord, I'm the dumpling.
I've never given you up, Cass. You understand that, bro?
306.
Cassidae's a giant. He's a
306.
giant.
I'm
You're 6.5 foot.
I can do 3 sets of 15 pull-ups.
Wow.
Cassidae, you're 6.5 foot, and yeah?
6'5.5".
Wow, really, you're a giant.
That's Nephilim genes. He got giant in him.
You know what? That's not that's been an issue because, like I said, I'm this big. My hair is red when the sun shines on it. I had the extra canines. I have had a devil of a time.
Possible.
No pun intended. Getting accepted by like the Native Americans and whatnot. Like I'll tell you how I got accepted by the Native Americans, and I love this story. So first off, I wanted to be a Native American when I was growing up. I was like, oh, I wish I was Native American. I was so jealous of my cousin Bunky because his dad was part Native American. Loved the culture. So I find out really late in life that we are Native American. I was so damn happy. You know, I was like, yay!
Cool.
Very, very happy guy.
It's cool.
So around that time, I did my first really high profile healing. One that really grabbed the government's attention.
Actually Celtic, not Mongolian or Chinese.
Yeah. I tell you
about that.
Barbara said to tell you, Cassidy, that in the Gobi Desert, they've recently discovered mummies that were Gaelic in genetics. They were not Chinese. They were red-headed Caucasians.
I need to look into
Gaelic. The druids spoke Gaelic. The druids spoke Gaelic.
Yeah.
They did.
I have no idea.
They did. Merlin there called it. I swear I'm gonna nickname him Merlin. It fits.
I knew that Omni Collective would definitely have a comeback to what I was just talking about, because he's the one that I asked about the channeling, and he's I guess he's channeling Metatron right now. He says, Metatron, we do not speak. It moved on. We do not speak in the language of tongues. We speak in the language of thought, experience, story, plot, and theme. Let that sink in.
Okay. Omni
Well,
Collective.
yeah, that's true. They speak in the mind. There's no need for a physical tongue.
I'm not calling you out, Omni. All right. But if you're channeling Metatron, then do me a favor and tell me what is the deal with the dang pigs?
Somebody, they make themselves understood.
Cassidy's asking Omni Collective a question. What is the deal with the damn pigs?
What is the pigs in the vision that he had there?
This is actually kind of like, I'm not like in a bad way, but it's kind of a shit test. The extra connotation of he's actually channeling Metatron.
How many?
Exactly what I mean.
How many?
How many?
How many pigs?
All of them.
So how many pigs?
All of them.
I purchased a ring from a sorcerer, and the ring has got a Metatron attached to it, so that should be interesting. An amulet with a haunted spirit attached to it, and the name of the spirit is Metatron attached to this ring, so that should be quite interesting.
Oh wow, that's a very powerful angel, by the way.
Yeah.
Tell Gabriel I said hi.
Yeah, Gabriel. Yeah, wait. Cassidy can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Cassidy?
Your sound went out, Cass. Your sound.
Went out.
Your mic.
Oh,
your mic. Not you, Mark. Cass. It's his mic. Well, Raymond.
Yeah, Cassidy, come back in. We've got 20 minutes left on this show, so let's just give it to Cassidy.
The pigs didn't have 3 little houses, did they? One was made out of straw. One was. Come on, I get a laugh there. Come on.
I'll huff and I'll pump and I'll blow your house down.
Yeah. I'm just funning. I'm just funning.
Good joke. I liked it.
Life is about enjoyment. We're here to enjoy ourselves and have fun, and
right. It's all a learning
positive energy.
Tell him I said to pray for the revelation of his dream.
Yeah, pray. Barbara said tell him to pray for the revelation of his dream. Right. You have a dream. If you pray about it, you'll get the answer.
I think he's trying to get his sound straight back right. Okay, I see him in there.
I've got Cassidy. Yeah, I've got Cassidy. There you go.
My tablet's kind of old, so sometimes the sound cuts out and I have to refresh. No, I've been praying for a revelation, and the answer I keep getting is that someone here has the answer. The problem is I haven't been able to properly fly, as it were, since the car accident. You know.
Well, Cassidy, let me phrase it this way. Let's go a little psychic here. If you're talking about letting the pigs in, and you're talking about the desert, and you're talking about Mammon being a god of excess or a demon, the fact of your life is that you have been in financial distress for quite a long time, and a lot of your life situations that you have equated to a lack of money, has caused you a rough life. And that is true. That is true. But necessarily money is not the cure for everything. And it might be a good illustration to show you a parable speaking that money is not going to be the cure for bringing you a happy life. Because money can, people say money can't buy happiness. Yeah, but it can buy you a bass boat. But
No, I have a semi-involuntary vow of poverty, and money is not my money is not the issue.
Right. So money would not be the object then for you.
No, it isn't. I want very little from this world. I mean, like that dragon I showed
But these
you
people,
earlier.
but you told me these people are dragging you down in your family, your past. I'm going to give you a pearl. I'm going to give you a pearl of wisdom. Take those people and put them in your rear view mirror and never communicate with them again.
Yeah,
don't give them an ounce of power, because if you give them an ounce of power, they're going to manipulate and use you.
Everybody says that, but nobody quite understands here. Have you ever seen the documentary Clear about what Scientologists do to their apostates?
Yes.
Okay, that's what's happening to me.
Okay.
It's not a matter of put them in my rearview mirror. They'll just find us again. If I get a job, they will find out where I work. They will harass my boss until I'm fired. They've harassed us out of jobs. They've called our landlord and harassed them until we were evicted. It has been
the courthouse
bad.
changed the name for about $75.
$75, you can change your name at the courthouse.
Request a new Social Security.
Request a new Social Security, or go file for an EIN under your name, your legal name, and put an LLC after it. Then your legal name, LLC. And then they can't track your Social Security number.
It's one of the reasons.
I'm an expert in vanishing. If you want to vanish, Cassidy, talk to me off of this, and we'll chat. I'll tell you how to disappear. They'll never find you.
Make me disappear, man. I got issues. Metatron has answers for y'all. Omni Collective, Creativity. He says Metatron, 47 pigs. This one, he's got one for both of you guys. Metatron to you, Cassidy. 47 pigs is the number which comes to this conduit. Pigs are messy, noisy. Humans see pigs as below them. Reality shows you what you believe it to hold as meaning. And to Mark, he says, Metatron, Gabriel hears you. Hello, Mark.
I'll see him again soon, I'm sure.
Richard M. Church says, can I ask why the explanations are always from the Christian perspective? And I would say we use the Christian perspective because everybody understands or is familiar with it. That's why we use the Christian perspective.
If you want to hear from other perspectives, we're happy to. I've been dying to talk about the Hindu perspective here for a little while.
Hindu?
Sarah?
They're cool.
Well, most of the stories in the Bible come from different cultures. The ancient Sumerians had stories about the flood.
Syrians, Babylonians.
So it's a collection of knowledge from all different cultures. And I think that's why so many people can relate to it.
Well, Noah might not have been the name of Noah. In fact, his name is probably Gilgamesh. His name was different. And he was from India.
And his name was different in different cultures.
Gilgamesh and Noah were not the same guy.
Great.
Yeah.
Nengazita
is referred to in Indian culture, in Sumerian culture, Babylonian culture, and different things like that.
Yeah. There's so many collective. And really, it's just mankind's search for meaning. So we try to paint it all into a convenient picture when it's so broad that we can't even begin to comprehend what we're being told.
I'll give you that.
So
Specifically,
it's not it's coming from us and our perspective, but it's not to say that our perspective's 100% right, or that
Well,
it's
yeah.
100% wrong, or that anyone else's perspective of it would be wrong. You know, so if you're coming across it as a Wiccan and you're a Norse Wiccan, for example, you know, some of the lessons would be pretty similar because they had deities for just about every different aspect of day-to-day life, you know, both good and evil.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a trickster, you know, looking at Loki, for example, you know, so
Ooh,
Loki was a trickster. We call it a coyote or a raven in our culture, depends on which one.
wow.
But yeah.
Loki's another thing.
You
Loki
hit
should
you hit
Oh, he's
something.
something.
It's weird
He's
that you
something.
said coyote because Omni Collective says Metatron speaking here. The wolf blows the house down. The wolf army, Amons, all revelations come to those who trust the movement of thought and emotion particles that
Okay.
control singularity tunnels to bring reality to your volition.
Okay. So Omni, how do
I
I know
get that.
when it's too much?
I got that. Yeah, I get that.
What'd you say?
How do I know when to throttle down? How do we know when it's too much power, Omni? And that's not challenging. That's a desperate
You
question.
you're talking about the silver bullet. Anytime you're contemplating that, that's when the pressure's too high, bro. You need to de-escalate.
That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
Take it down, come talk to us.
Good advice, but that's not what I mean. What I mean
Okay.
is
He says, Shalamina, whatever you focus upon grows. Your fear that you'll be chased brings them. Eliminate your fear. Have no fear before the face of God.
Oh,
okay.
don't fear nothing. Yeah. When have you ever seen a man that don't bleed? When have you ever seen a man that don't breathe? It don't matter how bad that man is, he's still a man, right?
Ish. But yeah.
Never fear anything. Anything. The worst anything could ever do in this world is kill you, which is very impractical. But
Right.
but you know, at the basis of it, it's like when I was a kid, when I was a young kid, I was the skinniest kid. They made fun of me. I was so skinny, you know, and here I was. Now, when I was little kid, get this, the Scottish come out in me strong, so I had blonde hair, blue eyes, and I went to school in a school where they started segregation. So, of the 13 little kids that were light skinned, none of them liked me. And so I had to learn to fight. And so I learned very quickly not to be afraid of anyone or anything. And it didn't matter if it's 5-on-1. Don't be afraid. It won't, because fear does not benefit a man. When in any holy text of any religion, not Christianity necessarily, but it works there too. All the scriptures in any world religion talks about the strong people. It's talking about the strong-willed.
I'm
That's
not
what
sure what
perspective.
Chrissy
So
Dunham
the
from
pro-
within the cauldron there says Jesus gave the demons a choice, hell or the pig. You guys might want to explain that to me there.
that has to do with
That's
Legion.
scripture.
That's the
Yeah.
story of Jesus casting the demons out of the man into the pigs, and then the pigs, rather than tolerate the demons in their body, jumped and killed themselves in the sea.
He
Oh, yeah.
exercised them.
Yeah.
He exercised them. They requested to go into pig when they were exercised,
Right.
and he granted them the ability to go into pigs, and then the pigs run over the cliff and jump the ocean and drown.
Right. The
So
pigs
it would
could.
release their evil spirits again.
Right. So that what I'm not talking about like when the pressure is too much. What I mean is not enough energy and they don't heal. Too much energy and organs burst. What the hell? How do I know when enough is enough? Metatron.
Oh Lord, you got him already up here.
And
He
again,
said
it's not challenging. I'm desperate to understand this.
he said Metatron, all religions built upon one beforehand. No religion was made in isolation. They have influences on each other. And now I guess another thing that's being channeled, Catelius Katalliuswyn. I'm not sure who Catelius is. Catelius,
Yeah,
the common denominator, huh?
I've never heard that name either.
The common denominator of what people would most widely understand only has a limited way of portraying the full scope of reality. It's best to balance it with more specialized language to convey the more advanced metaphysical concepts. When you do not trust your power, you go within and asks what you want to do. Doubt brings instability. Remain in your center no matter what. There, he went too long there. It keeps going. Faith and knowing faith equals knowing regarding whether physical manifestations present themselves. Faith plus wisdom equals full oneness toward thought, feeling, belief, action, and being, the 5 layers of the aura. True healing is knowing you are complete without knowing why, because you do not have to know everything to be everything. You simply have to experience and accept what comes on your journey. Follow your excitement. And Chrissy Dunham, she says, surrender to your God. The light is there. Hey, Chrissy. That's pretty
We've got
awesome.
like less than 10 minutes left. Cassidae, is there anything you want to say in the last 10 minutes?
He just went to the bathroom.
You want to say you just went to the bathroom? Okay.
Well, that's a good thing he left us out of there, because you guys talking about pigs and all of that, you guys are making me kind of hungry, man. I want some ribs now. I'm coming up there. Chrissy Dunham says it's Chrissy Dunham. That's what I said, Chrissy. Chrissy Dunham is in the house with.
I think you've got a very wise audience too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Good group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like a magnet to like light workers
And
and
even the one that thinks that I'm a cult leader, I wish him much love.
Yeah.
And like I said, while he's gone, like I said, I apologize to Cassidy. I apologize to you guys out there, but there are parameters in these shows that we refuse to go past that, and things were getting a little escalated. I mean, if you guys don't know that I've been in many shows with Cassidy, and I love Cassidy, regardless of some of the things that had happened in the past. So that's why I had to make sure my brother knows that I apologize to him, because that was the way that we had it set up, and I was told, by some of the steps, to make sure that that doesn't happen, because we're trying to protect the listeners, because we're growing in listeners and size. Because some of you all don't know that these shows they go out to different groups. One of Bradley's groups has over 144,000 members. Speaking of that, 144,000, and mine, I got each one has about 2,000-3,000 on each. So I've got about 10. Cassidy has different Facebook groups and a following that he's been on. Well,
no,
yeah, you do.
I left all the groups. I'm done. You know what I mean?
And I'm not letting you be done. You're not gonna be done.
Well, no, I mean done with that part. Done with that part.
Okay, I got you, brother.
I'm not done, but I'm done with that.
No.
Part.
That's okay.
I don't think it would work on you anyway, man. I think it probably bounce off of that thing there you got, man. I don't think it's silver. They got to get platinum or something to try to get through that skin you got, bro.
Yeah. You need the Enterprise to get through that.
Bradley, you just went into other dimensions there, Bradley. You just crossed into 2 of you here. Which is the real Bradley Powers? I don't know. See, now, okay, this is for my show, Exploring New Phenomenon. Bradley just divided himself into 2. You got twins?
Oh, yeah, me.
But no, don't worry about it, Benny. I know.
Oh, this is a right result, isn't it?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Any of you tolerate me at all? I'm going to be completely honest. So you're good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, while we're getting, because I know Bradley, it's they're 6 hours ahead of us, so that's about 5 in the morning. So I know he's shooting for 6 minutes to end this. First, Let's leave Cassidy for last because we want to give you the stage. Mark, if you want to tell people where they can reach you at, or different things like that, or how to get in touch with you besides just your name, you go ahead and let them know.
Okay. My name is Mark Brown. Some people call me Mark Nightwolf Brown. Most people call me Farmer Brown. So I own the Eco Farm in Sweetwater, Tennessee. You can find me on Facebook under the Eco Farm, Sweetwater, Tennessee. That's probably the easiest way to find me. Or you can find me in LinkedIn under Colonel Mark Brown, um, Sweetwater, Tennessee, and owner of the Eco Company. I'm an expert in sustainability. I'm Indigenous Native American and an organic farmer. Thank you for having me on the show. It's been a lot of fun today, guys.
Thank you for coming on and answering some of my questions. I really appreciate that.
My honor.
Mr. Lion, the Lightwing, my brother from another mother's lion den. Go ahead and he said, well, I know you answered it already, but if you guys don't know, I'm gonna say one that I started a new show, Untwisting Time, that we invited that Cassidy and Omni Collective Creativity, myself, Richard Strictus, and you're welcome to come to us on Sunday night at 9 o'clock, Mark, if you like, if we want to get back into this again.
Sure.
Well,
Omni's
it's up.
Chris.
Huh?
Omni's Chris, isn't he?
Yes, you didn't know? Yeah,
No.
that's Pete, because that's his YouTube name and his following there. He said Omni just said Mark is fun. Bradley loves dividing himself into multiple avatars, meant give or take. But yeah, Omni Collective, that's my co-host, and from Exploring New Phenomenon. And I set up that new show because it took me to find Cassidy to help me understand Chris sometimes, because Chris goes so far over my head that it's ridiculous. And some of y'all know that Chris is, he's pretty much blind. Cassidy has a little bit, most of the blindness like he has also. So
Right.
it's kind of wonderful to see that, when you lose a certain, part of your body that enhances something else. This guy's, like I said, he's very, very knowledgeable. He used to follow Cassidy's show all the time. He would tell me about Cassidy's shows, the ones that I would miss. So, like I said, you guys are absolutely great. And I apologize one more time to all your fans out there, Cassidy, because whether you know it or not, you have a very big following, and people that are in my groups and admins and moderators in my group, they love you same way as I do. We don't care that I'll say it, I'm one of the co-hosts, that you're an asshole, I'm an asshole. Wouldn't you like to be an asshole too? Okay, sorry, Bradley. He's not here right now. So we're getting it off. So everybody cuss. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, everybody.
No,
But I just want to let everybody know that these guys are great. Whether or not you believe what they have to say, or your own opinions or your own opinions, whether you want to call somebody a cult or whatever, until you understand what someone's trying to do. He wouldn't be on this show if he wasn't trying to spread some knowledge and give, Cassidy some answers to some questions that he has. So just if
and
you're
I'm
supporting
sorry.
Cass,
I'm sorry.
understand that Cass had answers that he's trying to get answered, to somebody that could probably answer it. And he's got a few answered there. And, we're on the stage of, trying to get understanding. Like I always say, it ain't just the knowledge you get, but understanding the knowledge. And it takes people like Cassidae Lightwing and Mark and some of us to give that understanding, because I don't like to teach someone something that I don't understand myself. And Cassidy, I've learned so much from this guy over the years. Mark, if you didn't know, we've done different shows together with Cass. And I'll go back and pull up the YouTube videos, the Google, and all of this, just, trying to understand. I still love when he was talking about rare spectral orbs or something one day. We got to get
the
back
red
off.
sphere. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, the guy is a treasure trove of knowledge. And I appreciate the time to just spend with you guys, because I learned so much. What is it called again that we were talking about today?
Mammon.
Mammon.
Mammon. M-A-M-O. Yeah.
And I, like I said, I was born. I grew up Baptist, Baptist in the church, and most people would have seen that word and think it's saying man, ma'am on, or something like that, not understand what mammon is. So now you guys are just woke up a
Yep.
lot of the crowd that, probably has the same train of thought from the religious aspect as me, that wasn't just talking about man. We're talking about mammon.
Mammon. Ma'am. Mammon. Mammon.
And while we're leaving out, can you both give just a brief description of what mammon is to you, Mark, and then to you, Cassidy, so that these folks will know what we was talking about today.
Mammon is an ancient demon or devil. It is considered an officer in Hell's Legion. He is an archdevil. He is the god of riches, greed, and wealth.
Yeah.
Cassidy, what do you think?
I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't know. Ultimately, what the mammon is. I'm going to tell you honestly. The first time I ever heard the word was in my dream, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Right.
And then you ever notice, like, when you learn a new word, you'll start to see it everywhere. It was like,
Yes.
I'm like, and then I looked it up, and I got pretty scared. So I don't know what I know is that mammon is a way higher level of an entity that I've ever personally dealt with. I'm a very accomplished exorcist, but not that good.
Top shelf. Top shelf. Right under Lucifer.
You guys put me on some new knowledge there. I wasn't familiar with mammon. I've heard so many other different type of entities on the evil side. And I can't say I did a complete exorcism. I studied and did some spiritual things to help people that I considered a lightweight exorcism by trying to remove some things. I got a YouTube on there that talks exorcism of a succubus, because at one of these places that used to have problems at it, it was an old nursing home turned into a treatment, but people had died in there, and some of the guys that were in there was witnessing succubus and incubus activity in their night with sleep paralysis and everything else, and was so I knew what it was. So I studied a little bit and did what I can by putting some prayers out there and trying to rebuke the spirit. I didn't get it rebuked. From what I heard, it moved down the hallway to a different room. I got it away from the guy that was being affected, but I couldn't expel it the way I wanted to. But that's why I learned from you guys new techniques on everything. I'm a constant student.
We should have a talk. I can tell you how to get rid of it.
Well, I'm not back in Texas anymore. I'm in Kansas. It was in Texas. It was actually in Irving.
I have the Catholic rites of Latin exorcism.
Mm-hmm. And Sherry Brett says that Mammon, he's a big one and so evil. I'd not like to bump into him.
I don't either.
I agree. Think how many people have lost their souls to that demonic entity. How powerful it really is.
Yeah, and you guys are welcome
to believe.
Chastity, if you need backup with that thing, holler, brother. I'm here.
When I'm ready.
When you're ready.
Omni Collective says Lucifer's a dragon from the Draco Empire. From my understanding, keep what resonates and leave the rest.
I wouldn't give the Draco that much credit. You got to remember they're basically walking buckets of chicken. They spice up real nice. They brown up real nice. They taste so good.
He's never seen Tiamat, has he? She's yet to come. She's yet to come. Oh, Lord.
Walking buckets of chicken. You guys make me hungry with our pigs and ham and chicken.
Roll a saving throw versus chicken dinner at this point.
Yes, I heard you. This barbecue sound like good. We're gonna have chicken. We're gonna have some pork there. Hey, it's gonna be delicious. I'll bring some gate sauce. I'm here in Kansas City. Hey, we got the best barbecue, so I'll bring the sauce.
There you go.
I'm salty anyway.
I was just gonna
I'm
point
sure
out-
Bradley's ready to close up the deal. Bradley, good to see you, my friend.
The demons didn't want me to close the show, so they booted me out of my own studio. We can figure that one out.
Uh-oh.
I think that's that devil god that you've been talking about. Don't bring him to us, will you? Yeah.
I
That
mean, he's
one.
not like Candyman, and you say it 3 times, he comes to you or anything like that, is he?
Ooh, let's hope not.
Beetlejuice.
Oh Lord!
Nah.
Here I am. Put the hat back on.
Cassidae, is there anything
No.
you'd like? Is there one question you'd like to ask Mark? Cassidae, is there a question?
A question, but I do have a final statement.
You know I'm the host with the most.
Mark brings up Tiamat, and we've talked a lot about like
Oh, she's fun.
things. So one,
She's a big girl.
Tiamat was slain by a human, not a god.
She's a big girl. You think she's slain? Read Revelation.
Yeah, that's not Tiamat, man.
Ooh. Look at the similarities.
Well,
You
like I
tell
said,
No, the only similarity is
different
that
type of Tiamat you're talking about.
Marduk slayed Tiamat with a bolt of lightning. Yeah.
Anunnaki
Yep.
meaning
Marduk
Tiamat.
was-
There's
I
another
think
Tiamat.
I think Tiamat had 5 heads. She was a 5-headed dragon, I believe.
depends on who
Yep.
you ask.
Yeah, she
Not
could be a 7-headed dragon.
She's a chromatic.
Hey, now you're getting into the D&D stuff again, and I'm gonna have to roll for initiative.
Well, they do remember that they based a lot of that based in historical legends.
Yeah,
That's what made
Right.
it an appealing game.
Well,
right. Especially given Gary Gygax's.
And there's nothing evil about a role-playing game, folks. So if you have that conception, please don't. It's a good way to stimulate your imagination, have fun with your friends, and get creative.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just don't take it too far. You're going to know some people take it too far. If they got a mental problem, don't play that game with them because they'll take it too far.
right.
You got to learn what reality is and what's a game.
Yeah,
True.
I used to do work teaching people how to play role playing games, and one of the things that we had to be ready for is those people that get way too into it. You know, the kind that like they might have a suicide watch if their character gets killed in the game. It's
Oh,
like
Lord.
to not be playing.
I think the funnest one I was ever in is this guy was kind of special needs that played with us. And for some reason, his character was feeling in the mouth of a horse to check its teeth. Well, his character had no proficiency with a steed or with the animal. So he sticks his finger in his mouth. And of course, the DM rolls to see if the horse bites him. It does. He has a critical miss, so he loses his fingers. So for the next 2 or 3 years, all we heard is, "Can I get my fingers back?"
He needs to talk to Ed, the talking horse.
Yeah.
Don't
Stick
look
the finger in the
a
mouth of
horse in your
horses.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
stick. This is a
Lord.
message for everyone. Don't stick your hand in a gift horse's mouth.
Correct. That's a lot of fun. Guys, it's been great. You have to tell me when the show closes because I have no clue.
Yeah, it's party's over now. You slayed each other and you're still standing. So I think that's a draw. Actually, we got a draw here. It's been a pleasure having you both on the show.
No, Mark wins. I learned a lot tonight.
Oh, likewise, Cassidy. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we've enjoyed ourselves immensely. Thank you for having me. Y'all have a good night. And in my language, until our paths cross again.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark Brown. He's in the house. Mark Brown is leaving the building. Freemason and Experiencer. Cassidae Lightwing. Thank you for joining us and giving us your time and sharing your input with a Freemason. Thank you very much, Cassidae. Thank you, Benny, for joining us. For giving me your time, Benny. Co-hosting the show, carrying the show when I disappeared, was booted out by demons. Thank you for that. And
well, they turned you too, so when they split you in half like that, I got concerned. So thank God Cassidae was here to help me. Yeah,
he's a professional as well. Okay, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for, I won't list everyone, thank you for all your contributions towards this show. It's been a pleasure having you near us. Thank you for sharing your insights. And The party is now over. This is Truthseekers Prophecy, over and out.
Peace and love, y'all.
Peace and love, y'all.
Love and light.